Good morning. We're back in the garden and we've got our 2 baby oak trees that we planted the other day. I came out this morning and the squirrels had pulled them out of the pot. So hopefully they will continue to grow big and strong. If not, we have plenty of other ones that are around. But I found this book and I thought it would be a great book to share with you the day after we planted our acorn. A tree grows up. Here we have some acorns. A Tree Grows Up by Martha Ferguson Delano. What's that squirrel eating? It's an acorn. Squirrels love to munch on crunchy acorns. Acorns drop from oak trees in the fall. Squirrels eat many of them, but they don't eat them all. The squirrels missed this acorn. One by one, falling leaves cover it. The wind blows soil over it. In winter, snowflakes blanket the acorn in white. Sprout. When spring comes, the shell of the acorn splits open. A tiny root peeks out and pokes down into the soil. Soon, a little green stem with leaves pushes up and reaches towards the sun. It's a baby oak tree. Day by day, the baby oak tree grows. Its stem, called a trunk, becomes harder. By the end of the summer, it is as tall as a pencil. Year by year, the young tree grows. When it is 5 years old, it is tall enough for people to stand under. Songbirds chirp on its slim branches. Chirp, chirp. Just like you, a tree needs food to grow. But a tree can make its own food. Sunshine helps the leaves turn air and water into a sugary food. This food flows through the veins in the leaves to every part of the tree. Every fall, when the weather turns chilly, the tree's leaves stop making food and they change from green to red to brown. Then they dry up and fall off. Brrr! In winter, the tree looks dead, but it's not. It's just resting. It rests all winter long. Spring brings rain and warm sunshine. The oak tree wakes up. New leaves spread wide to catch the sunlight. The tree keeps growing taller and taller. Its trunk and branches grow thicker and thicker. Squirrels scurry up and down the trunk. A family of birds nests on a branch. In the fall, the acorns drop from the tree. Many animals come to feed on the fallen acorns. Chipmunks, wild turkeys, blue jays, deer, and of course, squirrels. So big. The oak tree is now a grown-up tree. It will keep making acorns for the rest of its life. It will keep growing taller. Its trunk and branches will grow thicker and thicker. One day, a branch will be strong enough for a swing. Whee! A tree gets bigger in 3 ways. It grows up, it grows out, and it grows down. Growing up. Every year, new shoots push out of the buds at the tips of branches and twigs. This causes twigs to grow longer and the tree to grow taller. Number 2, growing out. Every year, a new layer of wood forms underneath the bark of the trunk and branches. It makes the trunk and branches get thicker. Number 3, growing down. Most of a tree's roots are underground. Every year, the roots spread wider and deeper. That is how a tree grows down. So if you look at our illustration, so you can see whatever is going on above the ground is happening below the ground. So whatever happens at the top is also going to happen underneath. Home sweet tree. Birds and squirrels aren't the only animals that make their home in oak trees. Here are just a few of the many animals that live in oaks. Honeybees, mice, morning cloak butterflies, gray tree frogs, crickets, skunks, and woodpeckers. And I know we have a skunk family somewhere because I heard them playing in the garden the other night. They were very cute, but they were a little stinky. Super seeds. Most trees begin their lives as seeds. Seeds come in many different shapes and sizes. An acorn is a seed of an oak tree. Maple trees make seeds that look like this. Here are some other kinds of seeds. How many have you seen? A cherry is a seed from a cherry tree. The seeds in an apple will grow up to be an apple tree. And this pine cone will grow up to be a pine tree. Leaf rubbings. Here is an idea for an experiment that we're going to do in another STEM class with Millie. And that's the end. So I wanted to show you boys and girls how trees breathe and make their food. So they need to do two things in order to do that. So we've been reading a lot about how important trees are for cleaning the air and keeping the earth's air nice and clean and healthy to breathe. And the reason that it works are because animals and plants are meant to live and work together on the planet Earth. So what happens is animals breathe out carbon dioxide, which is our breath, right? You can see your breath. And trees breathe it in, and then the trees breathe out oxygen, which is what animals need in order to live and be healthy. So
this is called the oxygen cycle. Let's take a minute to look at how the oxygen cycle works using this illustration featuring my dog brother Spencer. Animals like Spencer breathe in oxygen. They breathe out a gas called carbon dioxide. Animals don't like carbon dioxide. But plants love it. All day long, plants breathe in the carbon dioxide, and they breathe out oxygen. This cooperative relationship makes certain that both plants and animals have the right air for breathing.
So trees without animals would have a hard time surviving, and animals without trees would certainly have a very difficult time surviving. We're going to do a little experiment on how trees respire, and that's just the tree word for breathing.
All you need for this experiment is a plastic zip bag, a tree branch you can reach, and patience.
So we are going to do a little experiment on how trees respirate or breathe. And you could do this experiment at your house. You're going to take your plastic bag, slide it down over a branch and some leaves. In this case, we're using this needle plant. And you get the bag on it, and then you seal it up. And then we'll watch what happens. So this is what happens when we stepped away for about an hour. I wonder what will happen if we leave it overnight.
One day later.
So we went ahead, and I went ahead throughout my yard, and I put bags like this on a few of the trees that I could reach. And I just wanted to show you what happens. We left them here overnight, and you can see all of the water that's on the inside of the bag. And the reason for that is because the tree took in water from its roots, and then as it was breathing, respiring, it gave off more water. And there's all the water that's collected in the bottom of the bag. So we did this throughout the yard, and you can really see, if you were to go up to, let's say, a mirror and breathe, or a window and breathe, you would make foggy droplets, right? And that's exactly what happened in here. The tree was breathing out, and it made all sorts of foggy droplets that are water. Let's see, I did a few more. Oh, look at this one. It looks like it's been in a steam room or in a sauna, and that's because all day long yesterday it was taking in sunlight, and it took up water from its roots, and it took the sunlight and the water, and it turned it into food for the whole plant. And now you could see the extra. That's like the tree's breath. When you breathe out, right, you get a little fog. That's the tree's breath. So let me undo this bag, and you can see it's got lots of water on it. That's from its breathing, from its respiration. Here's the dogwood. Now, I'm not exactly sure, but we know that in order for trees to do this, they need to have a lot of sunlight. So when you look at someone who was full in the sun and they have a lot of water in their bag, this tree is in the shade, and it's breathing, it's respiring much more slowly. So I think that has something to do with it. I think sunlight makes a difference. You should try this with your trees and compare what goes on in your yard.
See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.